do they ever come back to life in that
No,
moment?
that's a very important point, though, because that could happen. You're quite right to think about that. That is possible, theoretically. Again, because just because they call you legally dead doesn't mean everything is stopped. The point when your body gives out, I don't want to call die, because that's not really what's happening. We'll get into that as to are you actually dead or not, because I don't think you are. But your body gives out, your heart fails, whatever, something critical goes. In an ideal situation, we're right there at the bedside, and we can begin within seconds of legal death being pronounced.
And do you have to wait for someone to be there? Like, does a coroner have to show up, or like at least a kind of smart policeman or something to say, hey, yeah, you guys are good to get in there, they're dead?
Generally, no. We hate those cases when you have coroners or medical examiners. No, in most cases, you just wait for a doctor to declare legal death. I think in some cases it can be a special kind of nurse, but legal death has to be declared, and it's very important to understand how that's different from other things. Now, but coroners or medical examiners, that's a disaster when they get involved, because you have to wait for them to arrive, which could be an hour or more.
And they're slow. I mean, they're dawdling.
They take their time.
Yeah.
And they're like gods. They have complete power. It doesn't matter if you have a religious objection. They can do it anyway, and they often will. And that can be a disaster. That can be as bad as taking the brain out of your head, slicing it into pieces, and then shoving it back into your stomach, which is as nasty as it sounds.
Oh.
It doesn't have to be that bad. We've had a lot of success basically they will autopsy you. If you're driving a car, you have an accident, they're going to autopsy you.
Okay. Hold on, slow it down a little bit for me so I can pay. Yeah, I am. Yeah, so you're, okay, so you have, so the coroners and those kind of guys can be a hindrance. It can be a holdup.
Yeah.
So you want to be already involved with the presumed patient that you're going to freeze. You want to be already involved with them. And hopefully there's like a medical, they're, at the end of their life, with a doctor, or they're in hospice or something.
They should be in a hospital or hospice, yeah.
Someone can
pronounce
them legally dead, and then you guys can be there.
Right.
And right then, you guys start, what do you do? Do you give them a couple minutes to kind of be with the Lord or whatever, or do you just get right in there?
We get right in there.
Wow.
Ideally, we're not always able to get there before legal death is pronounced. We want to get there as quick as we can. It's not essential, but it's certainly better. So ideally, we're at the bedside. The doctor says, I declare you legally dead.
Okay.
And let's just go into that for a second before we go into the procedure, because it's really important. When they say, I declare you legally dead, what does that mean exactly? Does it mean your whole body's dead? All your cells are dead? No. It can't mean that, because people donate their organs all the time, right? So all these things are still alive. Just something critical has failed. And in fact, many times when you're declared legally dead, they could actually resuscitate you. That's why people have DNR, do not resuscitate orders, because they're saying, please don't resuscitate me, because I'm just going to be miserable and horrible for a couple of hours and then fail again, right?
Wow.
So it's very important to understand that legal death is not the same as everything suddenly dying. That doesn't happen.
I see. So it just has to be legally dead, and then there's still a lot of life going on inside of people.
Yeah. So
and that's when you guys get in.
That's when we get in there, and what we do, I'll try and keep it relatively simple because it's a complex procedure. Basically, we'll take the patient, move them from the hospital bed or the hospice bed into an ice bath. We'll cover them with ice, add some water. We have a device which circulates that icy slurry around them to accelerate the cooling process.
And what temperature is that you put them in?
Well, it's just ice water. So we don't want to go below freezing at this point, because that would damage the cells. We haven't protected them yet. So we're going to put icy water that starts circulating. We'll put on a mechanical CPR device to start pumping on their chest, and a respirator to take over breathing. So we're actually restarting circulation and respiration. And you might say, well, why are you doing that? This person's dead. Well, as we've said, they're not really dead in any interesting sense, and we have to preserve the viability of the tissues. Just like someone donating an organ or a kidney, we want to keep it viable. There you have to keep it viable for several hours while you send it across country.
Yeah, when I was young, my sister got a liver transplant when I was younger, when we were kids, and she... I guess they had to move the organ pretty quick and then get it in her.
Yeah, they don't last that long.
Hope you enjoyed that video, and you can watch another. And you can watch this one, you can watch this one. Different options, different choices. Some guy just brings you one option, not this guy. Two options. Watch one, this one or this one.